Good day, good day. Thanks for joining me on today. I am excited to be here as usual, and I want to continue our discussion on the law of prosperity. Our last episode, we started digging into that law by really examining our beliefs and what it means to believe, right? To believe. Today, I want to take it just a little further and talk about how mindset, faith, and action, right? Actionable strategies, but action combined to help you cultivate true wealth, right? Now, wealth is whatever you say it is. So I'm not going to define that for you, but I know that we all want to live a wealthy and prosperous life, right? Whether that's enough to pay your bills or seven figures or eight figures, whatever that is to you. But it has to start in the mindset. Hey, did I introduce myself? My name is Deb Howard. I'm your abundant life coach. You are here on the Kingdom Wealth Warriors channel. Thank you for joining. So today, let's continue talking about that law of prosperity. And today I want us to look at a scripture in Proverbs 23 and 7. 23 Proverbs 23 and 7 says, "As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he." We're diving deep into why money is actually energy, how prosperity flows to those who align with it, and how poverty is less about the lack of money and more about the presence of limiting beliefs, fear, and a scarcity consciousness or scarcity thinking. So let's get started. All right. To understand why wealth is frequency, we need to recognize that our thoughts, beliefs, and emotions have an energetic quality that influences our reality. And I really need us to really think about that for a minute because we know our thoughts have power. Some of us have prophetic giftings where we're able to foretell the future or even the past sometimes, right? People's past. We can know things, a knowing that we have. And yes, it comes from the Spirit of the living God. Yes, it comes from the Holy Spirit, but it's an energy. It's an energy, right? And so to understand why wealth is a frequency, we have to understand that our thoughts, our beliefs, our emotions have an energetic quality that influences our reality. When Proverbs 23 and 7 says, "As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he," it points to the truth. And this is a truth, y'all, that our internal state, what we truly believe about ourselves, will manifest in our outer world. You may have heard people say, I know my parents and the elders in my day used to say that you attract what's in you. Now, I'm sure some of you may disagree with that, but we actually attract what is already within us, right? And so, if we want to attract more of something, whether it's wealth, prosperity, peace, joy, love, whatever it is, then that has to be in us, right? It has to be identified in us so that we can attract that. If we constantly think and feel that we're in lack, then guess what? Our world will reflect lack. It reminds me of the illustration that's used quite a bit, right? With a half full glass. Some people will see it half full, some people will see it half empty. Both of those statements are true if you're looking at, and I don't have a glass here, but if you're looking at a half filled glass of water, right? If you had a glass of water, half of it was filled, it is half empty. Okay, that's a fact. And it is half full. That's a fact. But the perspective is what is different. So some people always see the lack in everything. Some people will look at that glass and say, yeah, it's half empty because that's what they see. That's what's in their thinking, that there's not enough, that I can't, I won't, it's not possible, right? Challenges become frustrating because of the scarcity mindset, the scarcity thinking that actually keeps us from using our creativity and being open, right, to the impossible at times. Look, this is faith. And so if we never really understand that our perspective is a reflection of what's in us, I probably need to say that again. Our perspective, how we see things, is a reflection of what's already inside of us. So if we have scarcity thinking, if we already believe that I'm never going to XYZ, right? I'm never going to get the house, buy the car, minister to a million people, whatever it is, I'm never going to be able to accomplish what God has for me. Then that perspective is reflected in everything. I'm never going to find a husband. I'm never going to find a wife. I'm never going to be happy. There's never going to be a time when I am not struggling to pay my bills. That is scarcity thinking, y'all. And that perspective is what's in me because that's in my belief. That's what's in my mind. That's what's in the knowledge that I have up to this point. I am reflecting what's in me. So when people say, watch your words, that's good. But what you speak has to be a reflection of what's in you, or else it's hypocrisy. Are you faking? No, you can. I've heard people say you can fake it till you make it. And yes, repeating words and using affirmations helps us reprogram or renew our mind, right? We say affirmations, you get affirmations, the truth, right? And say them. I am, for instance, one of my affirmations. I am a wealth carrier. I am a wealth carrier, right? I speak that because not only am I wealthy, but I carry wealth and I carry that wealth to those who need it. I carry that wealth to the purposes and assignments that God has placed in my life. Come on now. So we have to speak it and affirm it and continually do this, right? It's medicine. You have to do it every day because I need to reflect in my language what is residing in me. If abundance is residing in me, come on now. Y'all hear me today. If abundance resides within me, if wealth and peace and love and joy, listen, all the fruit of the Spirit, listen, if they reside in me, then that is going to be reflected in my world and in my language, in my perspective, because I'm going to see love. Right? I'm not married, but I see love. I see that people love each other. I see that, yes, I can listen. I can be married. I can be located by my significant one. Now, I've been blessed because I've been married. My husband passed away, and I had a great marriage. So, my testimony is marriage is beautiful. Yeah, it can have its challenges, but it's beautiful. It's amazing to live and share your life with someone else because that is what's in me. Now you may hear other people say, "Oh, don't get married. Oh my God, it's this, it's that, it's the other." And I'm giving you these examples because I want you to see the difference. I want you to be able to identify in yourself what is inhabiting, what's residing in you. Is it a scarcity mindset? Is it poverty thinking? Is it lack and emptiness? Is it hate and envy? Do you see everything as half empty? Or do you have the perspective that there's more than enough? Okay. So if we constantly think and feel we're in lack, guess what? That's what we're going to get. That's what we're going to see. But if we consciously, intentionally, can I use that word? Intentionally choose to shift our beliefs to abundance, then our reality begins to transform and come into alignment with our beliefs and with what we are speaking and how we're living. And our perspective aligns with that abundant mindset, abundant thinking. So it's important that we lay that foundation. Um, so a man thinketh, so is he. What you believe, and I'm not just talking about these random thoughts, even though they count too. What you believe, your values, how you establish your values, how you go about living, right? You have to do it intentionally. You are not going to look up. I know you want to. You're not going to just look up on wealth. And even if you do, the real challenge with wealth is maintaining it. Ah, that's a whole other subject. So I don't. You can do your own research on that. because it is a fact that many lottery winners, and I don't have the percentages in front of me, but many lottery winners end up broke. Why? Because it's not just enough to get the money. And many times when people, I'm going to guess, right? I'm going to assume that many of these people probably had a poverty mindset to begin with. And so, what happens when you give $20 million to someone who constantly sees not enough? Now, you might say, oh, they're going to save their money. Usually not. Because they have that mindset, they're always concerned that there's not enough, that that won't be there, that I'll never have another chance to do this. So they come up, you know, spending money. We see it with singers, with actors, with professional athletes. They many of them go through this. They get that first million or whatever amount of money, and they go buy all the things that they felt um, were impossible. And instead of being wise, many times they think, "Oh, I'm gonna go get it now. I'm gonna go spend it now," and not have the knowledge and the understanding about how to manage that money, and not even have the understanding that, listen, I got to get my thinking right so that I am not trying to buy value. I'm not trying to impress others. I'm not trying to prove something with this money. Come on now. See, money needs an assignment. And if you're trying to prove that you can spend money, child, money will cooperate with you and it will disappear, right? You'll be wondering where that money went. You probably have had this experience already with funds that you have. How many of us have said, I don't know where that money went? Because we weren't intentional. So we have to consciously and intentionally choose to shift our beliefs, our thinking, our perspective. It has to be intentional so that we can receive, so that we can develop. That's how I want to put that, develop that abundant mindset. And then our reality will begin to align with that, with our beliefs, with our perspective. All right. So money is energy, right? It's connected to our thinking more than it is connected to your activity. So many times we think, if I do more activity, right? If I get a third job, if I have, 100 more customers or 10,000 more, whatever it is, right? Nothing wrong with goals. But when we get our thinking in order, then we'll find that it will become easier to get and attain what we want to attain. Why? Because money is energy. It's not just about physical cash, it's a conduit of exchange. The power of money is in the exchange. You can have a stack of money in a chest or under your bed or even in the bank, but the value of money is not really experienced until you exchange it, right? Whether you exchange it for a home, right? So in today's market, maybe you have $500,000. Do you hold that $500,000 in the bank, or do you invest it? Or do you buy a home? Homes appreciate most of the time, right? It takes time, and there's an argument that there are better investments. It's just another way to skin a cat. Y'all don't get caught up in all of this, right? But we're going to use house today because that's something we all can relate to. So if I take my money, and maybe I don't take the whole 500. Maybe I take 300,000 and put it in a house, right? So as that house appreciates, right, the value of my assets appreciates. So instead of having 500,000, there won't be 500,000 long in the bank, right? Because many banks have charges, et cetera, et cetera. But even if not, right, it's going to stay stagnant there. And the bad thing about money is that with inflation, which we all have experienced in the last couple of years here in America, will definitely reduce the value of your dollars. You get less today with $20 than you got 10 years ago. It's still a $20 bill, but the value of it has lessened, has reduced. And we know that because of the exchange, right? So when I go to the store with that $20, I can buy a lot less now, which means the value has decreased. So I need to have that wisdom and understanding that even as the wealth comes, that I understand that I've got to invest, right? I've got to be a giver. We mentioned that in the last episode. There's so many things, but let's stay focused today and understand that money is energy. It's not about what you possess. It's about you opening up your thinking and your beliefs and aligning that with the truth that it's for you. That abundance is for you. When you open yourself up to prosperity, listen, when you get that abundant thinking, you'll find opportunities, right? You'll make connections. You'll have ideas, resources. All this is going to naturally flow because there's a lot in you that God wants to bring out. So, why is that important? Because once we realize it's not our bank account that defines poverty or wealth, but it's our thoughts and emotions. Suddenly, the transformation can start from the inside out. And listen, that's what we want. We want a transformation that's going to last forever. Kingdom Wealth Warriors is not just about getting money. Money is good, but that's not all that it takes to be wealthy. It's about living the abundant life physically, mentally, and spiritually. It's about aligning ourselves with the principles of God, knowing and showing the earth really that we can have wealth, we can be blessed and still make an impact. That we can do the things that are needed that others won't do. That we'll be faithful and loving and kind. That we will still walk in our spiritual authority. That we won't stop praying. That we won't stop doing all the things that we know we are here on earth to do. Yeah. So we want to remove that poverty mindset. We want to understand that money is energy. We want to understand, or spiritual. We can even say that. But I'm going to say it's energy. And that our beliefs, right, our thinking, our emotions, all of that, how we believe, what's on the inside of us shapes our world. And if we can transform our thinking, then we can transform our world. At least that's what Proverbs tells us. So a man thinketh, so is he. Listen, thanks for joining me on today. I know I said a lot. It's so much more I wanted to say, but time just runs by when I start talking. And I love talking to you. I love being here and being able to share with you and really express to you what I've learned over the years and how I've been able to really transform my life. Listen, we're not going to get into that today, but I can tell you that I have transformed my life from the inside out, and I'm still being transformed. And so I want the same for you. So listen, thanks for joining me. I'm just going to say, you know, remind yourself that your thoughts shape your reality. That's what I want to say. Remind yourself that my thinking is what shapes my reality. Believe it or not, it's more of your thoughts and beliefs that shape your reality than your politics, all right? Or who's in office. It's what's in you, not what's on the outside. Listen, I'm giving a key for believers. It's not what's on the outside. It's what's on the inside that's going to change your life and allow you to have your most abundant life. So listen, thanks again. If you found today's episode helpful, drop me a comment, a like, a share. You look, even get into my DMs if you want to. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to know what you thought. I'd love to answer any questions. So feel free to do that. If you want to share it with someone who needs a little kick in the butt when it comes to abundance, then do that. Until next time, I want you to keep that frequency high because remember, free is a low frequency. Get out the free stuff. Get in a high frequency. Invest in yourself. And of course,